You're listening to Real Estate Radio Northwest with local expert Nick Neal. Now, here's Nick.
Now we got people dancing in here. I like that music. Sometimes I'm like, this stuff's a little old, the ins and outs that we're using, but that one's one of my favorites.
It definitely makes you move.
That's cool. Well, I'm Nick Neal, host of Real Estate Radio Northwest, and I'm here with my right-hand woman, Shelly Dudley. Can I just call you Dudley sometimes?
Of course you can.
That sounds kind of cool. and we're on KKOL, AM 1300, and I'm a mortgage banker with Sound Mortgage, and I've got a team of people that are just doing amazing things over there, helping people to answer questions about financing and helping them with mortgages and just on a real personal level where we really try to make things easy for you. We, one of our taglines is opportunity is made easy. And that's an extreme statement that we make. It sounds like just a light, verbiage, but we really mean that. Our goal is not necessarily to make it easy, but make it as easy as possible so that you can, really pay attention to the big picture and focus on getting the house the right place and not having to run around for details all the time.
And that's one of the things that I love about that company too, is that they do make opportunities for people. Nice.
Well, yeah, so give us a call if you're in a situation where you need help with a mortgage, a pre-approval, or a refinance. Or also, a member of our trusted team of advisors, because our goal is just to provide you with information, whether it be need of a realtor, financial advisor, an accountant, a bankruptcy attorney. We just want to provide you with the right person so you can get the right information to make the right decisions. And give us a call, 888-638-1117. And also you can find us online at realestateradionorthwest.com. And we've got Justin Mitchell that we were just talking to about finding out where he's from with the Midwest, and no cheesehead here, but just the neat things going on at Keller Williams and how excited he is to be a part of that group. And we love those guys, and we've had Sherry Jansen on, and she really talked about the whole concept in the office and how wonderful it is to work there. And you're feeling that, right, Justin?
Oh yeah, and we were just chatting off air in between the break that our office is very lucky to have her. She's pretty much the ambassador for our office and kind of the face of the team, and she's just got such a great light, got such a great energy, and just really helps to kind of promote that really great feeling of warmth and welcomeness in the whole office.
Nice, yeah, and CEO and team leader, and I love that, team leader.
Yeah.
Sherry Jensen. We have Justin Mitchell in the studio today with us, Sherry. Talk to you. Yeah. Man down.
Exactly.
Hopefully no men down over there. But when you do get knocked down, I'll bet, that type of camaraderie just really helps to pick you back up. And you never feel like you're alone when you have a battle to fight, right?
Well, yeah, and as agents, we always get difficult clients, difficult situation, difficult other agents in the industry that sometimes you feel like you've exhausted every single option you can think of, and you almost want to start, you feel self-defeated. And it's great to know that you have that little safety net and that group of people that, I'm just having this problem. What do you think? Can you got any suggestions? And it's amazing what can come out of some of conversations like that, not only do I benefit from it, but the client ultimately benefits from it as well.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big safety net, 140 people.
It's huge.
That's a can you hear me now team walking behind you, right? Yeah. Yeah, well, so what areas do you like to work in Seattle, Justin?
So I've represented buyers on houses all over the place, from Sammamish to Tacoma to Everett, but if I had my pick, I love showing properties and selling properties in the downtown area and the Capitol Hill area, only because I've lived in both areas. They're some of my favorite areas of Seattle. And because I know them so well, I feel like I can make a really good connection with my client when, I'm done showing them a house and they say, my daughter and I are going to go have lunch. Do you got any suggestions? I was like, well, actually, you can go to my favorite lunch place just down the street. So I love being able to do that. And I love the variety of types of properties that you can show in that small area, from condos to townhouses to
a real mix.
Big houses, when you're in Volunteer Park area, all the way out to Madison Park, that whole area. It's
on
just
Leschi.
Yeah, I love that whole area and just the eclectic architecture and, so much that you can show in that one little area.
Well, it helps knowing Seattle really well.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Exactly. And your clients can really tell that too. So I love doing it just because it's easier for me to win them over right away and their trust because I'm so familiar with the area.
Well, Justin, have you been seeing a change recently in the Seattle marketplace?
Yeah, what's happening now? We know, but tell us.
Yeah.
Loaded question.
If any of you listeners out there are shopping for houses right now, you probably know exactly what I'm about to say. But definitely at the early stages of last year, we definitely saw a shift as far as the supply and demand goes. And it felt like overnight we saw multiple offers happening on houses that were priced right and, were turnkey and showed well. And that has not changed. We're still, it seems like it's gradually even the inventory's dropped continuously to the point where I'm seeing insane, ridiculous things happening with offers and people paying a lot of money for houses that I personally would never pay, but it's not my money.
And it really happened overnight, and people are having to adjust to that. And this is Real Estate Radio Northwest on Money Radio, KKOL AM 1300 with Nick Neal, Shelley Dudley, and Justin Mitchell. And Justin, I know that it's hard for people to make that change, because when you're gradually moving up in a market and you're seeing things get tighter and prices go up, it's pretty easy to go with that progression. But it was kind of almost an overnight change, and it's been extreme really in the progression.
It's like it made a huge jump right away, and then we've had this gradual, that trend continued on a gradual slope over the last just over a year. Yeah. But it's hard for buyers that stood kind of in the wings for like that 3-year period.
And we're waiting for the bottom to hit, kind of, and they thought it's a buyer's market. We can wait, and we're going to get a better deal, right, and have time to look.
Yeah, or no sense of urgency, because there's tons of properties on the market. Interest rates were still dropping, so they thought, I'll just wait until the interest rates hit, a really good low, and then I'll buy. So that change happened, so that those buyers that were kind of waiting came into the picture, but it's been very difficult to try to shift their mindset on, I'm not going to have 15 houses to show you that meet your criteria when you call me and say, I want to go look at houses.
And you're not going to have 2 weeks to think about it.
No, you have to really prepare your mindset. It's like, if you love this house, I need to know 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the other things that you're trying to help people to be competitive in this market and get the house that they want? What are you guys doing?
I'm sure from the mortgage industry, it's crucial that you go out and talk to a lender first, because pre-approval, as much as you can get into your lender ahead of time. All the pay stubs and all the required documentation that they could perhaps even put it in front of an underwriter before you go shopping.
Yeah, that's what we do. We get what we call a pre-approval. It's not a pre-qualification anymore.
Right.
So you plug in the appraisal and title, and you have a loan. That's where we are with the people.
And then they're going to feel a lot more comfortable about their money situation, so they're not going to be worrying about that piece. So then I can shift their attention to the property itself, knowing that we've kind of got the money piece taken care of. Yeah. And then the big trend right now is pre-inspection, where typically you would inspect a property after you're under contract, but you're going to have to take that risk of that $400, $300, $400 inspection, and you do it before you submit your offer, and then the price of your offer is reflected on the condition of the property. You've figured out what's wrong
ahead of time, instead of having the time to negotiate. So then the sellers really are firm with, this is what they're offering, this is where they stand.
Well, there's that piece, but there's also by pre-inspecting it, we don't have an inspection contingency. We remove one of the ways out, I guess you could say. And so the seller, typically at the end of the day, is going to take the offer with the least amount of ways out.
Boy, that's interesting. That's an interesting concept. I hadn't heard that yet, the pre-inspection. I've heard of sellers getting inspections and having those ready when people come in to try and kind of hurry things up and not have the fallout of an inspection causing issues. But so you're just trying to take everything that could be a barrier to the sellers approving your offer out of the way, right?
Exactly. I'm trying to position my client's offer as strong as possible, and the best way to do that is to reduce the contingencies or the ways out. And and even I've had a couple of instances where sellers have inspected the property and provided an inspection report, but I know I personally still advise my clients to have their own inspection done, just because we don't know the credibility of the person that inspection is coming from.
Yeah. Well, and $400 when you're looking at a $400,000 house, that's a small percentage to pay to have peace of mind and not make mistakes if you're going to have to operate as quickly as you do in today's market.
Exactly. And and I've even had we were chatting a little bit about a story about some friends of mine that missed out on a bunch of houses. The house we finally got in, we actually removed the financing contingency as well to make the offer as strong as possible. So they're still getting a loan.
Oh my gosh!
But we removed the money way out. Right at offer. Yeah, so it was
Interesting.
essentially a cash offer because there was no financing contingency.
And you said they looked at 7 properties or made offers on 7 properties?
Made offers and lost out on 7 properties over the course of about 12 months before we finally got one.
Wow. I just had a client in Seattle too that we had an offer price or a list price of $375, and he did an escalation clause because his agent recommended he do that up to $415. And this was about the 4th or 5th house in the last 6 or 8 months he's looked at, and just getting frustrated as well. And she even had me writing credit scores and his employment history and everything. Really, really strong borrower. So even some verbiage on his pre-approval to support his strength on the financing side. And up to $415, and I'm like, oh man, looking at the house, it was a nice house, and I thought, that's got to get it. And sure enough, somebody overbid, and he lost out even with that $30,000 escalation clause.
It's amazing.
$40,000
we lost out on escalation clauses like that too. Those same clients.
Yeah.
So it sounds like with inventory becoming short, these are some really important things for our listeners to be thinking about as they.
Yeah, like if I could summarize kind of some of the points to remember is before you go fall in love with the house, make sure you really have a grasp on what you're looking for, the neighborhood, the features of the house. Really understand your financing, get that in order, and then because you're going to need to be prepared to make that quick decision. So especially with a pre-inspection, because you're adding another third party into the coordination, and a lot of times the offers have a due date. Like, so the property might go available on Thursday, and they're reviewing offers Monday at 5.
Oh, I've seen that as well.
So if you want to pre-inspect, you got to call your inspector. You got to figure out, can he get out there? If he can't, like I did with these clients, I had to leverage my team at Keller Williams and call everybody in my phone that I knew that might have an inspector that I could call.
Oh man!
And so it's amazing.
And they're busy too now.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's amazing. And really, like you said, defining everything that you can ahead of time, so you're ready, you're fully loaded when you go out to look at properties, and you know exactly what you want. Probably, a lot more research up front instead of going and trying to find what do I want. So when you see the house, that's it, you want it, and you can make the offer.
Exactly, because that way you'll mentally be able to be okay. Oh, you know what? This is it. This against my list of wants and needs, it meets it. This is great. This is in the neighborhood. This is the price. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. We're just about to head into a break, so when we get back, we'll talk more about REOs and HUD properties and some of the things that Team Troy. We haven't mentioned too much about Team Troy. Let's talk about that a little more. What they specialize in and how you're helping people buy homes. And we're going to get to the techno stuff, I promise. Come back soon, and we'll be right back from the break.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Nick Neal, tell me what Real Estate Radio Northwest is all about.
Well, really, it's about empowering our listeners. We want to bring together people from all aspects of real estate to help inform you and give you information that you need to make the right decisions when you're in the real estate market. There are so many different opportunities out there right now. We want to make sure that you find the right one that's right for you and go into it with the knowledge to make the right decision for you and your family.
What are some of the things you're helping the people of the Puget Sound accomplish with their real estate?
Oh, gosh, it's really been exciting lately. We've had everything from first-time home buyers. We recently had a family that was adding a new addition to the family. She happened to have a due date in December, and we were trying to close in November. And the husband was handling the transaction while she's in the middle of the emotional issues that you come up with while you're in a pregnancy. And it got pretty intense. But we were able to close on time and get them in the home and get the baby's room painted before the baby came. And it just made for an exciting event.
Who's out there listening right now that should call you today?
Anyone who wants to buy or sell a home, refinance, or has questions about their real estate.
Well, folks, it's just that simple. If you want the free real estate advice in the Puget Sound, call Nick Neal right now at 888-638-1117. That's 888-638-1117.